This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good morning, Tuscaloosa. Good morning, Tuscaloosa, Internet World, West Alabama. How we doing today? It is the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Finally, we're getting it going. We're getting it going. A brand new week. It's the last week of fall camp, and we are here live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, ready to talk to you on the Bama Central YouTube channel, on our own social media machines, at Joe Gaither6, at Theo Fernandez _. We found him, Theo Fernandez _. We're ready to go. On a Monday, we invite you to jump in and join us on the comment section, all of those places. You can leave us a voicemail at 205-462-7340, extension 800. You have made it. Football is here. It is the last week. It is the first week, really. Week 0 is on Saturday. High school football in Alabama, AHSAA football is starting on Friday night. I know Georgia football got started this past Friday. Xavier Griffin got it going with his team on Friday. They took care of business on Friday in a very, very emphatic way. So it's here. My Chicago Bears played last night, looked amazing. So we're going to the Super Bowl, and we're all excited about football again right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com. What are we going to do today? Well, first, we're going to tell you to call Derek Daniel for all of your insurance needs, 205-758-3391. And after Theo catches his breath, he's going to tell you how much money he saved by switching his car insurance to Derek Daniel State Farm. And we're going to go right into Alabama Scrimmage. Everything that we heard from this past scrimmage, everything that all the birdies told us. We'll get into some current concerns, and then obviously we'll unfortunately have to address Jam Miller's injury. So that's really going to be what we're going to do today. I think my camera just went out. It's going to come back on in just a minute or so if we can get that going. But Theo, good morning. How we doing? There it is. There's the camera back. Good morning. How we doing? How much money did you save with Derek? How you doing? And how much money did you save last week by switching your car insurance to Derek Daniel State Farm Insurance?
I'm doing great, and I got a lot of extra money in my pocket now. You know, talk about Geico can save you 15% or more. I was on Geico, and I guarantee you that is not true. I mean, Derek Daniel saving me hundreds of dollars over the next 6 months, and it'll be a lot longer than 6 months if these prices stay like this. Great going up there, talk to Derek directly, talk to his partner Red up there, and they were really nice. We talked some basketball and football, and they got me a very nice policy. So go check out Derek Daniel. Go swing by and see me and Joe, too, if we're recording.
205-758-3391. Home Life Auto Insurance. Get you a quick quote. It won't take you very long. You can talk some basketball, or if you're a Braves fan, you can commiserate with Derek Daniel right there. So let's get into the real football. Let's get into the real stuff that happened over the weekend. Alabama played some football on Saturday. Their final scrimmage of the weekend or of fall camp. They're going to have today off, yesterday off. They're back at it Thursday, Friday. They're back at it Tuesday, Wednesday. What's the last of the schedule, Joe? They're back at it today off, tomorrow, yesterday off. They're at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then they get Sunday off, and then it is really game week, Florida State game week. And I did get a Florida State reporter that's going to be joining us Thursday morning. We're going to be recording Wednesday afternoon, so we'll get more Florida State insight as we are basically 2 weeks away from playing the Florida State Seminoles. Theo, I heard a bunch of stuff, got some birdies talking to me. Did you hear anything from the scrimmage on Saturday?
Unfortunately, I was out of town. I was announcing some high school football.
Oh, yeah, how'd that go? 8 on 8, right?
8 on 8. It was
Gross.
some great 8-man football. 8 equals 11 is what the league says, and I'll tell you, Joe, you can talk about that brand of football all you want. It is fun. Watching those guys make their moves, so much green grass everywhere. You have to be really skilled, really agile, athletic to play really good 8-man football, and it's a fun thing to watch. It's an even more fun thing to announce because touchdowns left and right. Some of these games just get so high scoring. I love it.
75-73, maybe.
Dude, we had a game last year, 92 points scored by the winning team.
That's disgusting.
It was like 92-56 or something. That's awesome.
That's awful.
That's Big 12 football right there.
Even worse. Yeah, golly, terrible. All right, so we were in the stadium. We heard from Kalen DeBoer on Saturday. You can see that on the Bama Central YouTube channel if you did not see or hear Kalen DeBoer's press conference. He gave us the standard stuff, but really, okay. What do you want to start with? Do you want to start quarterback? Do you want to start offensive line? Do you want to start kicker and punter? Or do you want to start wide receiver? Where do you lead me in a direction, and I'll tell you what I heard.
All right, let's get kicker out of the way because I think we have some stuff to say here.
Why do you want to start there? Do you want to start with the worst plays? Oh, my gosh. Okay, so you got Blake Dowd and Alex Asparuhov as your punters, and they're still in some semblance of a punting battle. But Blake Dowd is ahead of Asparuhov because of Asparuhov's spring injury, kind of getting into the fall camp, and he's ahead of his timeline. It's going to be Blake Dowd, Colorado School of Mines transfer, and it's gonna not be amazing. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be fine, but it's just not gonna be great. Your best bet or your best hope is Ty Simpson leading touchdown drives. Really, no punting. Go for it on fourth down. I think that the punts, what I was told, and then what Kalen DeBoer said, matched up to a large degree. What I was told was that there wasn't a whole lot of punting in the scrimmage, and then Kalen DeBoer came over and talked and said the same thing, that we didn't get as many punts as I would have liked, maybe 2 or 3, maybe short by 2 or 3. What I was told was before the scrimmage got going, as they were warming up, the Blake Dowd's punts didn't have great hang time and didn't have great distance. It kind of is what it is. I think that you're going to, look, you had J.K. Scott last year, not J.K. Scott, you had James Burnip last year. You had James Burnip last year. Goodness gracious, I'm like in 2016. You had James Burnip last year and the last 4 years and was really fine. But I think that if you need to, you need to lower your expectations for the punter.
Joe, to cut in here real quick,
please.
So I'm writing a piece on the Specialist a couple weeks back, and I was doing this research, and I'm looking at Blake Dowd's numbers, and he led his Division II, all of Division II in punt yards, just net yards per punt. His number would have put him 11th in FBS. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, you know what? This guy's going to be really good. And then J.D. Zaza steps up, and he's like, the Colorado School of Mines is a mile up in the air. He's got that Colorado Rockies home run inflation where the air's thicker down here in Tuscaloosa, and you don't need to be a scientist to know that is going to make a big difference on his punt. So I was a lot more excited about him than I was when I actually realized that, these numbers are really inflated here.
Yeah, 46.6 yards per punt last year. James Burnip was at 45.4. But you said you were out of town on Saturday. Saturday was a disgusting day weather-wise. Saturday, I cut the grass, and I'm like at 9:30 in the morning, maybe 10 o'clock, and I am just like, now I'm not in like amazing shape. I'm in fine shape, but like I sat down and it was just drenched in sweat, just disgusting sweat. The humidity was not fun on Saturday, and going along with the heat index by the time we got to Bryant Denny Stadium was at 100, 101, right in that range, 99. And so the humidity was pretty high. I think that you're looking you should temper your expectations on the punting. You should look at James Burnham's freshman year where he averaged 39.1 yards per punt. I think that's probably going to be a reasonable expectation. I think if you're expecting him to still hit 45 yards a punt, it's not going to be what you like. Now, the biggest thing is we got to have hang time so that we can cover these punts. And so just based on people that I talked to, and they're not sitting there with a stopwatch, so like let's just make that context clear. They said, not so great. It was okay, not so great. So punting sounds like it's going to be about a C+. Yeah, sounds like it's at about a C+ right now for Alabama. Maybe a little worse, maybe a little better, but I think you're landing at about a C+ average. Kicking seems to be a huge question mark. Oh my gosh! So last week I don't know that if we even talked about it last week, Theo, but Connor Talty missed a kick last week and then apparently made the rest of them in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Saturday, that was the first scrimmage. Saturday sounds like he missed more than one.
Yeah,
sounds like he missed 2 or 3. And now Coach Kalen DeBoer saying, "Oh, these are from longer distances," and said that he needs more time in the stadium. So needs more experience. He said he's been making them at the facility. He's been making them over there on campus, but just needs more time in the stadium. I wonder if you are going. I mean, you're definitely going back to the pre-Will Reichert days, and I wonder if you're even taking Graham Nicholson for granted last year's 8 for 10. Connor was a highly rated recruit. Has been sitting, marinating, living in the Alabama strength and conditioning room for the last 3 years. I just am concerned. I am very concerned. Am I smashing the panic button? Not until I see it in the game, but my hand is really hovering over that panic button right there. So look, Ty Simpson, we're going for it every 4th down. We're going for it. Just get us into 4th and 1s. Just actually convert 3rd downs, please. And let's stay aggressive offensively. I am fairly concerned about the kicking game on both ends, kicking and punting. Now, we saw Connor last year do well with the kickoffs, but I am fairly concerned with kickers and punters this year in a Crimson Tide uniform.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely agree with everything you said. He missed kick from the mid-40s, I believe, is what DeBoer said. And look, I mean, everyone's going to miss a kick every once in a while, but this might become a very big problem very quickly into this season.
Exactly. And you're probably looking, you may be considering, I mean, do you remember the name Joseph Bulavos? Do you remember Andy Papanastos? Do you remember those names? Do you remember young Jeremy Shelley? Old Jeremy Shelley was quality. Old Jeremy Shelley was really good. But young Jeremy Shelley, not so hot. Kate Foster, we're sending all the Alabama fans, all the Alabama fans into PTSD right there, mentioning all these names. Young Lee Tiffin missing a bunch of kicks at Arkansas. Now old Lee Tiffin really good. But yeah, I'm pretty concerned about Connor Talty. Now look, he's got 2 more weeks. He can iron some things out. Maybe just more time in the stadium. But that first game going down to Florida State, I do not want his first attempt to be at 46 yards away. Right? I want his first attempt to be a nice little easy 32-yarder.
I mean, the first kick he ever takes should be a PAT.
Yes.
That is the goal. Make life easy.
He's got 4 PATs. He's made all 4 of them in his career. I feel comfortable with that. I do. You get him past PAT range, I'm starting to put my question mark hat on. All right, so where else do you want to go to?
Well, we got the worst one out of the way.
Did we? Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd agree.
Yeah.
So you take this one now, Joe. You set us up for number 2.
Number 2, I think that you got to go quarterback because that's what everybody wants to know about. Everybody's big question mark is, will Ty be an efficient player? Will he be a good player? And the numbers that I saw coming out, I saw 14 of 15 from a couple of different people. I heard that as well from people that I trust and listen to, that Ty was really dialed in. And what people were telling me was that it was not all first read stuff. It was coming off the first read and hitting the secondary player underneath the linebackers, hitting a thirdary player out of the backfield. Lots of high completion percentage and moving Ty Simpson with a lot of athleticism as well. Apparently, there was a quarterback read play. He's reading the running back, crossing his face left to right. He pulls it and goes back to the left for about a 30-yard touchdown run. I think that Coach DeBoer said this as much, and I don't know if I would have said this as much in the press conference if I was Coach DeBoer, but he said, I think his athleticism, I think his running ability is going to surprise some people. He's not Jalen Milroe. He's probably not even Jalen Hurts or Blake Sims, but he's more athletic than Mac. He's more athletic than Greg McElroy and A.J. McCarron. Jake Coker had a different sense of athleticism, a much more powerful running, bumbling down the field. He's going to run you over. I don't think it's that style. I think it's very Bambi-esque. I think he's going to be running high feet, just if you watch a deer run and gallop per se, I think that's going to be Ty Simpson's style running the football. And I think there will be some called quarterback runs in this offense. I think he's going to get probably 3 to 5 quarterback runs a game. They're going to come late in the second half, or late in the first half, into the second half as a wrinkle. It's you've been hammered by our running backs all first half. Let me pull one out, and as your linebackers are all flowing one way, hits you for a nice 12 to 15 yards run, and then again scrambling. Things are messy in the pocket. I'm getting out of here and I'm running. Now, Ty, the last couple of years that we've seen him, has escaped pockets too early, has abandoned clean pockets too early. I've been told that he's not doing that, and I think that what you heard on Saturday matches up with that as far as hanging in there, going to the second read, going to the third read. I'm as excited about Ty Simpson as I have been all offseason. I'll say that.
I agree, and I still remember the way we were talking about him back in like May or back right after the spring game. And I just think that now that we have some more insight on him, and again, you don't want to look too much into this, but I think that I feel a lot better about Ty. And like you said with the scrambling, I mean, that ability to, it's 2nd and 10, and you're able to escape pocket, and instead of 3rd and long, you're looking at 3rd and 5. That's huge, and that's something that I think he'll be able to do very well. The pocket presence, even out of high school, is something that they praised a ton on Simpson, and it seems like that will be a big strength for him.
Yeah, so it sounds like okay, let me remember. Rico Scott and Jalen Hale, my birdie was like those two guys got a lot of receptions.
There we go.
And my birdie said that Ryan Williams only caught a couple of passes the whole scrimmage. Not that should raise any alarm concerns. Do not go there. But just the fact that I think it means that Ty is moving through his progressions and not saying, "Hey, I'm just going to force it to number 2 the whole dang time." And so that's going to make him really, really hard to defend. Now on the flip side, Coach DeBoer did compliment the pass protection in the press conference. But my birdies told me that the quarterbacks in their black jerseys, so not real sacks, not getting taken to the ground, got tagged 5 or 6 times, 5 or 6 times for quote unquote sacks. Blew the whistle dead. It's a sack. Now, does that mean that was just LT Overton tagging you on the shoulder and wouldn't actually bring you down as a sack like we saw many times last year, getting the fingertip away from actually securing the sack? Maybe, but I don't know if the pass protection was as strong as Coach DeBoer alluded to in the in the post scrimmage press conference.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you just have to wait for a real game to see. But I mean, we know that these receivers and DBs are having some fun matchups all of practice, especially in these scrimmages, and with how talented these groups are. I love the fact that Jalen Hale got some receptions.
Yeah, I was told that the offensive line, I mean, they admitted to it in the post-scrimmage press conference. Coach Kalen DeBoer admitted that Jaden Roberts does have a concussion, something that we alluded to all week last week. I didn't want to come out and say it like explicitly, but if you were listening to the show with any semblance of a brain, you knew what we were saying. So he admitted he had a concussion and didn't play in the scrimmage. James Smith also on the other side didn't play in the scrimmage. So what I was told, the offensive line was Wilkin Formby, Cam Dewberry, Parker Brailsford. I was told Owas Lennon got a lot of time at your right guard, which I love. Also Gino Vandermark and then Wilkin Formby. But I was told that that Gino kind of struggled. Vandermark struggled. So I think that Owas is really showing his value, because I think Olas is one of your interior lineman back, one of your guard backups, and also Caden Proctor's primary left tackle backup. I think Olas is going to be a quality player. I think he's going to get a lot of minutes this year in a rotational role. I expect that Jaden Roberts is going to be back healthy before the start of the season, getting cleared for the concussion protocol. But you never know. Head injuries are crazy. You guys see me. I'm wearing my Bear stuff today. Jaquan Brisker missed like 8 weeks last year with a concussion. So it just depends on just the brain, and the brain is a funny thing. So I would expect that Jaden's going to be back healthy. Is he going to be back healthy with enough time to be in game shape and be ready for that 107-degree heat index? So I drove to Bryant-Denny Stadium on Saturday, Theo, and I pulled up the heat index because I knew it was just gross, and it was 100 for Alabama at what time? 3 o'clock?
Yeah, because they pushed it back to kind of simulate that heat.
Right. And then I typed in Tallahassee in my weather app, and it said the heat index was 107. And I thought, horrible.
Disgusting.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. So is Jaden Roberts going to be back in time to be ready for that? I have no idea. I have no clue, and I don't even want to simulate a guess here. But I do think that right guard is becoming, we went into the season as who's going to play left guard. It has been pretty consistent that Cam Dewberry is playing your left guard, and now the question has flipped to who's playing right guard. Going from last year's starter, Jaden Roberts was solid, and he's second team preseason All SEC, right? Is he going to be ready? Is he playing well enough? Is he in game shape? We have no idea. And so that's become a little bit of an issue for me on the offensive line. And look, everybody's talking about Ty Simpson, and you get excited for him. But if the offensive line's got problems, then the quarterback's got problems. It doesn't matter if you've got Joe Montana back there, Patrick Mahomes back there. If your offensive line's got problems, your quarterback's got problems.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Again, we just have to wait and see on. I trust a guy like Gino Vandemark to be able to come in and give a solid play.
Yes.
As that, if we have to play him. But obviously, Roberts just elevates it a lot. And it's a little concerning not knowing his full status.
Yes, I agree. I am. That's become, I was fairly confident. I was fairly confident in the offensive line. I was probably at a mid 8.3, 8.4, 8.5. I'm probably closer now
mid 7
to a 7.6, 7.8, something in that range.
Yeah, I'd
for the offensive line.
Put myself in that same boat. We'll see. Olas, he's one. I talked to him a lot at Alabama's media day. I talked to Coach Kapilovic about him. I talked to some of the teammates about him, and
love Olas.
I like him a lot. I think he'll be a great player in 2026.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
I don't know how much I trust him out there on the field this year. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I want to see him out on that field all that much.
I don't think that's crazy to be concerned. I think he's an adequate player. We'll say that. Do I think he's an all SEC type offensive? Not this year. Do I think he could be next year? Yeah, I do. I think he could be an absolute stud with one more year. Especially if you mix him in this year, you give him that role where somebody's helmet's popped off. Olas, you're going in for a few plays while he gets his helmet screwed back in and get some water. Just pretty big question at right guard right now. Just with Jaden's health. With Gino's ability, will he step up and play well? And then if not, can Olas do that?
And I'm assuming this is where you were going to throw it next, but how much bigger do these questions get when you look at what's going on in the running back room right now?
Honestly,
I think it.
Not much.
Really?
People went crazy over the weekend, and if you didn't see it, you're living under a rock. But if you didn't see it, we'll just tell you on Saturday night, our man Will Miller
Incredible work.
Will Miller, his birdies told him that the Jam Miller got hurt in the scrimmage. I didn't have birdies tell me that, which is okay. When I went back to my birdies, and they were like, "Oh, I didn't see that," which is okay. It's tough if you're watching the scrimmage. You're watching it with no commentary. You're just out there watching. But apparently, Jam gets hurt in the scrimmage and has a procedure done. And Will Miller sources it with multiple sources and wrote it out. And bam, it's 11:30. I was asleep at this point. I was trying to stay up to follow all their communication because we were all in a little communication thread. But I was just pooped by the end of Saturday. I went to the River Run Park grand opening. I went to the scrimmage. I played a championship game in my NCAA dynasty. I cleaned the house. I cut the grass. I got stuff done on Saturday. So by that time, I was just exhausted. But I wake up about 5 a.m. and Will has published it. Yes, Jam Miller has undergone a procedure and will miss multiple games. And people just lose their mind. First, on Sunday, lots of people did not credit you, Will Miller, and I'm mad at you. If you are one of the ones that did not credit Will Miller, just know I'm mad at you. Yeah, exactly. But Will did a great job, went out on a limb. When I woke up on Sunday morning and I saw, nobody's followed Will yet. Oh, I hope that he's right. I think he's right. I trust him. And then Coach Kalen DeBoer sends out the email basically confirming that he did, confirming everything that Will reported. And so we threw that statement into Will's story, and we were feeling good. I was feeling good about Will Miller. Now, as far as what happened and what the running back room looks like, you remove Jam Miller from the running back room, and you asked me how concerned I am. It's not much. Now, that's not because Jam's not a good player. I think Jam is a good running back. I think Jam was going to be the lead running back pretty undoubtedly. I think you heard Ryan Grubb and basically everybody and their mother compliment Jam for his work ethic, compliment Jam for his strength, his speed, all that, everything that he was going to be Alabama's lead running back this year. But I think the running back room is bleeping loaded.
What's that?
And so like you can probably remember a couple like 2 weeks ago you were at the press conference, I believe, where Ryan Fowler asked Coach, what do you see in the running back room? Ryan Grubb, and he goes, Jam Miller, and like really complimented him off the bat, and then he started talking about all the others. And I followed up right then and there. Well, Coach, how many running backs do you think we're going to see this year? Because I've been in the camp, like, who's the odd man out? I've been in the camp that, man, there's really 4 really quality running backs right here. What's the rotation going to look like? And Ryan Grubb, he sort of danced around it for just a minute saying, however many it takes, however many the game plan calls for, which that's the right answer. Yeah. If you're the coach, you want to be a little coy. But then he kind of got into it. It's like, but realistically, probably 3 guys. And I thought, well, somebody's getting cut out. Jam, Dre Washington, Daniel Hill, Richard Young. Somebody's getting cut out. And that's gives me the ick because I know those are 4 quality running backs, or I believe those are 4 quality running backs. As the week went on, or the next week went on, it sounded like maybe the 3 running backs were Jam, Dre Washington, and Daniel Hill. Mm-hmm. And I was like, golly, Richard Young, tough luck, really tough luck right there. But I think if you're evaluating this Alabama running back room, if you just had to say, hey, it's Richard Young, Daniel Hill, and Dre Washington, or it's Dre Washington, Daniel Hill, and Richard Young, like, you're still looking at that trio thinking that's a quality trio. Now, would you like to have Jam? Yes, you would. You would like to have Jam. And I think Jam is probably 5% more than each of those 3, but not by a lot. What Jam gives you is security in pass pro that I don't know that the other 3 give you. Now, that becomes an issue going back to our last topic, offensive line and pass pro. I think Jam knew what he was doing in pass protection and would come up and smack the mess out of you. And you were not getting to the quarterback, at least not through Jam Miller. And if you were paying a heavy price for it, because I think Jam was very, very physical in pass protection. And you have to be at the running back position. Now, you look at Dre Washington, you look at Daniel Hill, and you look at Richard Young, and don't really know Dre's pass protection ability.
Just hard to gauge where he played.
Yeah. Daniel Hill, you going into second year. It's, young running back. It's still a big question for a young running back. You're not asked to do that a ton in high school. That is a skill that you develop through college and into the NFL. Richard Young, you've been here long enough. Do you know who to block, and will you commit to it? I'm not going to say he's not. I won't say that, but you just don't. With Jam, you had the security. You had the man. He knows exactly where the blitz is coming from. He knows how the pass protection works up front, where his responsibility fits into that pass protection up front. I think Richard could. Yeah, I think he could, but do I have a strong sense of security in that area? No, I don't.
This is a huge opportunity for him, obviously. I mean,
yes,
massive. I'm excited to see him out on the field. I mean, I still have that memory of that run he uncorked against Mizzou late in that fourth quarter in my mind. I want to see him do that again.
Yeah, I think the upside for all three guys is still really, really high. Running the football, holding the football in their hands, catching the ball out of the backfield, particularly with Dre and with Daniel Hill. When the ball was in their hands, I'm fairly confident in all three. I'm at an 8-7. I'm at an 8-6, 8-7, 8-8 with those three guys. Now, when it's a 3rd and 12, when it's a 3rd and 8, and they've got to fit into the pass protection, how's that going to work out? That's my big question with those three. And that's really what I think you're going to miss with Jam Miller's injury. Now, let's talk about Jam's injury here. Jam reportedly messed up his shoulder. You've heard dislocated shoulder. You've heard broken clavicle. You've heard a lot of things. And Coach Sabor didn't say it in his email. All he said was underwent a procedure. I think he's looking at 4 to 7 weeks. And so where does that put you here? That puts you at Saturday's bye week, because the season hasn't started. Yeah. That puts you at Florida State. That puts you at ULM. That puts you at Wisconsin. That puts you at bye week. And then, boom, the 6th week is Georgia. People are talking about, he's going to come back for SEC play. I don't know that is – I don't think you can count on that.
It's not a given.
Yeah, no. Could it happen? Yes, it could. He could recover and be back in the 6th week. Especially he went ahead and had the procedure on Saturday night. They diagnosed it. They had the procedure. Bam, right there Saturday night. So he could be back on that 6th week. That Georgia game is 6 weeks away. But I think it's probably much more likely you don't see him over in Athens and you see him making his 2025 debut the next week against the Vanderbilt Commodores right here in Tuscaloosa, 7 weeks away.
I think like you got to have him out there for Georgia. Personally,
if he's not healthy, no. If he's not really good, because what you don't want to have happen is you go out against Georgia and you give him a carry, or he's pass protecting, and let's be honest, the Georgia Bulldogs are a physical big defense, right? They're a quality defense. They pop him one, and boom, he's got another. He's back under the night. Like no, because while I do feel confident about these three, I'd feel a whole lot better if it was a group of 4. And look, you never know what the attrition. You never know what the attrition is going to be over these 6 weeks. You just don't know. And so you've got A.K. Deere and Kevin Riley as well that we haven't mentioned at all, because two young players. And I think that they're talented to a degree, but just AK's got a lot to learn. And I think Kevin Riley is just a cut below those guys. I think he's a good player, but not somebody you want to revolve your offense around. I don't. If I'm Coach DeBoer and if I'm Jeff Allen and the training staff, I'm not sending Jam back out there until I know that shoulder. And they won't. They're not going to put him in any danger. But I'm not putting him out there at 80% against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Interesting. Like I don't know. That's one that I think you got to think long and hard about.
Sure.
Like I see close to a game time decision that week against Georgia.
Yeah, probably.
Not game time, but that whole week they're thinking, they're really working on. Okay,
well, you're going to put that. You're going to put that into Kirby Smart's mind. You're going to put that in. Hey, we're playing him this week. We might play him this week. You haven't seen him yet this year. We're going to play him. Yeah, you definitely want that in Kirby's mind.
DeBoer's not coming out that Tuesday before the game and saying, "No, Jam's not playing." That decision will come out right before.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree. That's going to come from Aaron Suttles, Yay, Alabama. He's going to be Jam Miller, active and good to go on Saturday morning, on Saturday day, right?
I'll tell you, man. Let's go worst case scenario here. Like, let's say he's missing. Let's go 8 weeks, right? His first game is October 18th against Tennessee.
Wouldn't it be the 11th against Vanderbilt or against Missouri? That's
yeah. Well, Tennessee would be 8, right? Mizzou would be 7.
6 against Georgia, 7 for Vanderbilt. 8. The 8th week is Missouri.
The 8th week would be. So let's say he's playing Mizzou, and you put him in there in the back half of the season, fully fresh legs. That's scary. I don't want to be an SEC defense trying to stop Jam Miller. He's that fresh.
You avoided. I mean, I hate to put it this way, but you avoided 7-8 weeks of getting banged up. You didn't get banged up by the Florida State defense or the Wisconsin defense, or ULM will give them respect as well. You didn't go over to Georgia and Vanderbilt. If they're nothing if not tough, they're gonna hit you. They're gonna try to hit hard. Yeah, I think that. I think it will be a positive in the long run. Will it be something to overcome for the team? Yes, 1,000% it's something to overcome. But you open this conversation with what's the concern for the running back room, and I don't really have a ton of concern. Of course, you want Jam healthy. Of course. But does his injury really knock the whole room down a notch? Because I thought that you had 4 quality running backs, and I thought only 3 were going to get to play, and I thought somebody was going to get their reps cut out, and it sounded like it was going to be Richard Young, which is weird to think about, considering just how much he sat the bench and how much time he's bided,
how highly touted he was coming.
Right. So I think that this could be a positive for the team in the long run if they can get through these 7 weeks. If the three guys are as quality as I thought, you're going to have Dre Washington, who I think Dre's got some get up and go in his legs. I think that he's got some explosion in his legs, and I think that you heard it from Coach DeBoer talking about Dre. Was it the week before or was it Saturday?
I think it was Saturday where he talked about all 3 of the guys, and we made it a thing because he only said one sentence about Richard Young, right?
Right, that was last Saturday. Yeah, where he talked about Dre pushing the pile, getting his head up in there and making something happen, getting some yards when there wasn't much action. I think Dre Washington is going to surprise a lot of people.
I do too,
and I think it's going to be. But somebody asked me on Sunday who's going to be the RB1, and I'm like, I don't think there's really going to be an RB1. I think it's going to be basically just who's feeling hot-handed. Now, I think you're probably putting Dre out there first against Florida State.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Like, I don't really know. I don't have much confidence in any of those statements as far as knowing who's going to be out there first.
And because of that, I think you're going to see all 3 guys getting a dozen carries, and you're going to feel, I like this about Dre Washington. I like that about Richard Young. I like this about Daniel Hill. Daniel Hill, I think, is going to make the Alabama fan base salivate.
I am so excited to watch him catch stuff out of the backfield. DeBoer's hyped it up. That's a big guy. You get Daniel Mountain running with some momentum.
Yeah, you hit him on a swing pass, and he doesn't have to work his way through the line. It's just him and a safety.
It's going to be hard to bring that man down.
Yes. I'm really excited about Daniel Hill. So is my do I have a huge concern over losing Jam? No, because it's not a season-ending injury. I think you can get by these 6-7 weeks with the trio, and I think that this is going to open up opportunities for the trio to really show what they've got for down the stretch. Is it still bad luck? Yes, it's bad luck. You would have rather taken Jam Miller down to Florida State. You would rather have taken Jam to Georgia, and you still could. You still could take him to Georgia. But if you can get through these first 3 weeks, I mean, you got a bye week, 3 weeks, and then then another bye week, essentially. So you're looking at 5 weeks before the Georgia game. It could happen. It could happen to where he's healthy and he's making his season debut over there in Athens. I don't think that is unrealistic at all. I'm just not going to count on it from let's plan the season out standpoint. And if he's back for Georgia and he's back, if he's back healthy, then these first 3 weeks, shoot, you better be able to handle it without him.
Yeah, there's no excuse to lose any of these games just because not having.
Exactly. You always see stuff online being like, I can hear it now from the Georgia fans. I can hear it now. If we'd have had Jam Miller, same thing. You got a lot of loud Florida State fans as well, starting to get loud. Talk about, well, don't use Jam Miller's injury as an excuse. I don't think it's an excuse. I don't think there's still any excuse. I think that this is just some bad luck for a quality player.
Yeah.
Bad luck for a player that you were going to lean on heavy. Now you're going to disperse his workload amongst 3 players who are already going to have a role. I think it's going to be a-okay.
And it really does suck for Jam as far as SEC accolades, NFL down the line, people looking at his numbers. So it hurts in that sense, but I agree, really not an absolute deal breaker in any sense of the word.
Now let's flip to the defensive side of the ball, because I had a friend who we were talking about Ty's numbers and how efficient Ty played and how the high completion percentage. And you once again heard on Saturday no interceptions. And somebody said, well, do our DBs just stink? I don't think that's the case. I think Ty's working through his reads.
Yep.
And I think it's, you're in some zone coverages and, oh, shoot, I'm going to have to take the underneath man. I'm not throwing it to Isaiah Horton. I'm not throwing it to Bernard and Ryan Williams. I'm moving off them and throwing to Rico Scott and Jalen Hale.
That's something that I know you expressed some concern about last week, and Mason certainly has expressed every concern in the book about that. Dude, that was Dax. If you're listening to this, that voicemail on Friday talking about Ty, that was awesome. That was a great call. Because I certainly think that Mason is still way too far on the negative side on Ty.
Well, I don't think that Mason is factoring in his running ability. And I think Mason is clouded. Like, he's got this idea that Tennessee high school football, and it's not Georgia, it's not Texas, it's not Florida. I get you that. It's not California. But Ty was like Gatorade Player of the Year in Tennessee, and he won a state championship. I think the man can move. I mean, I retweeted Michael Southern's 15 days till Alabama football, where it was all Ty Simpson highlights. And now, yes, it was highlights against USF and Western Kentucky and Kentucky and mop-up duty when the score's like 49-0 or whatever. Like, so it's not all high pressure situations, but the man's a quality athlete.
I just don't think the high school aspect is a factor at all anymore. Like, sure, he's not Keelan Russell going out and doing it against the best high school competition. It's so far removed from that now. He's been with the program so long. He's going against the best in practice every day. He's got the best coaching. I mean, come on. Like, I just don't want to. And we'll find out when the season starts, obviously. I just don't see look who he played against in high school as a legitimate knock against Ty Simpson anymore.
All right, let's take a quick break. We'll tell you about the Northport Lions Club Health Fair. We're also going to tell you about the Crimson Clash. We'll come back. We'll keep talking to the scrimmage. We'll talk about John Mechie getting traded and much more right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Northport Lions Club and St. Mark Church present a free health fair in honor of Dr. Norman and Jean Carlson, Saturday, August 23rd, 8:30 till noon. That'll be in the St. Mark Family Life Center. Northport citizens can get free eye, hearing, and blood pressure screenings, diabetes testing, and more. Now, the first 100 people get a free biscuit, and free Domino's pizza slices will be served at 11, along with free snow cones and drinks from Buffalo Rock. Sponsors include Alabama Lions Site, Ascent Audiology, DCEH Regional Medical Center, West Alabama Food Bank, Special Olympics, Northport Police Department, U of A Institute for Rural Health, the Alabama Department of Public Health, and others. A Northport Fire Department truck will be on site, and there will be lots of fun kids' activities. The Northport Lions St. Mark Health Fair. See you Saturday, August 23rd.
You need length and girth in this league.
Get ready, Tuscaloosa. New Era Wrestling presents the Crimson Clash. The hottest local wrestling show in town slams into Two Dimes on Thursday, September 11th. Witness the chaos as social media sensation Big Trouble Ben Bishop brings his larger-than-life swagger to the ring. The man is 6'12". He weighs 15% of a metric ton and is bringing every bit to Tuscaloosa. Feel the heat when our new champion Sleazy C. Caden Newton defends the open title. And don't miss the brutal street fight between the modern-day Kings and the unstoppable force known as the Draw. It's the same weekend as Alabama hosting Wisconsin, so keep the Tuscaloosa energy high with the Crimson Clash. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the bell rings at 8 p.m. at Two Dimes on the Strip. Grab your tickets now on Eventbrite by searching New Era Wrestling and use promo code RADIO for 20% off. New Era Wrestling, where legends are made and the battles are epic.
And Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback, who is really he's been fantastic.
And we're back here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, talking Alabama scrimmage from Saturday, and we're going to get into John Mechie's trade. Before we do, did you see Julian Sayin got named Ohio State starter?
Yes, he did.
Man, think about this quarterback room. You had Jalen Milroe, Ty Simpson, Eli Holstein, Dylan Lonigan, Tyler Buckner, and Julian Sayin all in the same quarterback room, getting ready for that Alabama 2023 Rose Bowl.
That's a good group of guys. I'm excited to see what Lonigan does up at BC this year.
He's going to be great.
I think so too.
At least great for them. I don't know that he's going to be the best quarterback in the ACC, but he's going to be really good.
He'll have a better year than Castellanos did last year.
Yes, because he's not going to get benched midway through the year. Yes, low bar right there. All right, so what do we want to get into? Do you want to keep going with Ty Simpson? Do you want to go with more Alabama running backs? We've got practice viewing tomorrow.
We do.
We've got practice viewing tomorrow, and so it's the last practice viewing before really game week. And so I guess the main eyes are going to be on the running back rotation, because it's always been Jam leading the drills. It's been Jam leading the drills. Will it be Dre Washington? Will it be Daniel Hill or Richard Young leading the drills tomorrow? I think that is probably your biggest question to look at. And then right guard, is Jaden Roberts back, or is it going to be Gino, or is it going to be Olasa Lennon? What else are we looking for tomorrow morning?
I think, quick on the running backs real quick.
Yeah.
I think this is one where I love how open Coach DeBoer is and the staff is about a lot of things. This is one where you want to keep the cards real close to you.
Are you putting Kevin Riley first in the drills tomorrow?
Yeah, like you want to keep FSU guessing until the last moment. You don't want them to know who they're going to see on that first snap. Really try to, safeguard that info. And if we don't have a story to write on that because we don't get a lot of intel, I'm okay with that.
We're going to have a story to write on it. It doesn't matter. If Kevin Riley's the first running back, we're going to have a story on it. We're going to have a story on whoever it is.
I'm interested, but I don't think we're going to learn a ton at all about the situation tomorrow. I think that's a good thing for the team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. All right, so running back rotation, right guard. Who's up at right guard? Is there any other big questions we need to ask tomorrow or look for tomorrow in our 15-20 minutes of practice availability?
Like, I don't really think so. I mean, we know so much about this team already. What do you think? I guess one thing that I'm kind of interested in is, what is James Smith's week 1 status?
Great question.
I think that's a big one.
Well, so there we go. That's 3 big questions. There will be 3 of us from Bama Central out there. I guess we'll all be looking for something in those categories tomorrow morning. And we want to remind you, you can find the Bama Central YouTube channel. We'll have our practice clips, our practice video up. And then at about 11:45 tomorrow, we will be talking to Ryan Grubb. We'll be talking to select offensive players. So we'll find out who that is tomorrow. We will do our show. Theo, you with me all week, aren't you?
I'm with you all week.
Except for Friday. Yeah.
I'm not in it on Friday. Okay.
Unless you just want to come beat up Henry.
I would love to come beat up Henry.
That might be a great way to play this.
Look, Henry's always running his mouth about Philly and the Eagles.
For people who are unaware, Mason is taking the week off. He's on vacation. He's not fired. He is taking the week off. He's celebrating some time with his lovely wife before the season actually gets going. So it'll be myself and Theo all week long. Tomorrow, it'll be an afternoon show after we do practice availability, because I don't really want to do a show at 6:30 in the morning about, hey, what are we going to talk about at practice, when we literally just talked about what we're going to see at practice 2 minutes ago. We'll watch practice. We'll do our offensive availability with Ryan Grubb and select players, and then we will come into the Derek Daniels State Farm studio and talk about what we saw at practice and what we heard from Ryan Grubb. I'm sure Grubb's going to tell you how many carries each running back's going to have against Florida State, and so we'll talk about what that disbursement looks like tomorrow afternoon. Then we'll be back on a regular schedule Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. I've got this third mic right here. We can set it up, and you can beat up. I'll just say good morning, and I'll just let you guys fight for an hour.
Joe, I don't think you know what you're setting yourself up for here.
Am I setting myself up for an easy Friday show?
You can go on cruise control for that show.
All right. So Henry has been talking a lot of mess about, you need to have me on the show. I need to make my debut. Okay, we'll find out.
I would love to be there, witness that debut, and get to, man, when we start talking ball, me and him, it gets heated.
Do you think
fast.
He thinks that I'm mean because I'm mean to him every time we're in text message?
You are. You're always calling him. It's funny.
I'm trying to help him get with the program.
He's always like just going off topic. He's always trying to bring some stuff in. And nothing to do with the conversation at hand.
We're trying to handle some business, Henry.
Very unserious person in Henry Sklar, but a very, very good writer. I'm excited to get
You're
to work
right.
with
He
him.
wrote a great piece on the Xavier Griffin interview that we did last week. Absolutely. So we'll find that. We'll find out what he has to say on Friday.
It'll be a good
You
show.
want to get in your John Mechie stuff before, so you can poison the well?
Yeah,
John
let me
Mechie
do
gets
that.
traded from Houston to Philly. Do you even know what it was traded for? A bag of peanuts
Yeah,
with
it
a
was,
7th round pick? What was the compensation going back to Houston?
Yeah, so it was basically just it was a pick swap. So they gave up a 6th, they got back a 5th, and then Houston had, I forget which one of their tight ends got kind of banged up in preseason, but they got back Harrison Bryant, who has been a solid tight end, solid second option. And Mechie was just going to be buried in that depth chart.
Yeah.
And I really want to see him get out on the field, make some plays, be the player that we know he can be.
Yeah, this is great for John Mechie.
I absolutely despise the fact that he's going to do it for Philly.
I told you were not sweeping the Eagles. Didn't you say that a couple weeks ago? We're sweeping the Eagles.
1-1. I'll take 1-1. That Giant still rocking from that Giants rant last week. We're going to be good. Jackson Dart, man. Don't overreact to preseason, but like,
it's hard not to.
I see Lombardi in his future. I think he is the guy who's going to bring us back.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, John Mechie.
John Mechie, I mean, Philly just always finds a way to get these players to fall into their lap, whether it's Jahad Campbell somehow dropping to 31, whether it's getting a guy like Mechie here. Even like they signed Azeez Ojulari from the Giants, who you look at him his whole career. He has been so good when he's on the field, hasn't always been on the field, struggled with injuries. Like that's a guy where he'll probably go out and have 8 sacks for Philly and be a huge contributing player. And it's just one of those situations, and getting back to Mechie, where it's like, I think this is a trade that we look back on at the end of the season and think, how did Howie Roseman manage to pull this off? How did he get this player for next to nothing? And as a Thunder fan, right? We see GM Sam Presti all the time make moves where he absolutely finesses the league, and it's incredible to watch. Howie Roseman is that equivalent in the NFL. And it is an absolutely miserable experience having to watch your rival team that you despise be so well run. I hate it. I cannot wait for Philly to one day go back to being a bottom feeder.
Well, don't hold your breath.
I'm holding it.
You'll die. You'll die. You will die before Philly goes back to being a bottom feeder.
I would rather die than live in a world where the Philadelphia Eagles continue to win football games.
Oh, now we're on the right track. Now you're sounding like me talking about the Packers. Well, any other Alabama news and storylines over the weekend that you think we need to address before we get out of here?
We had the very unfortunate situation with TJ Yeldon. Obviously,
I don't even know enough details to talk about that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I wrote it as my lead for roll call last night, and it's never something you want to see. Not much to say right now. Obviously,
arrested for domestic violence.
Domestic violence. Okay. Yeah, we'll get court details in the coming weeks, and just not what we want to see from a guy that.
Why we got to end the show on that note, Theo? Why you got to do that to us?
Let's not end the show on that note.
What else did you write in roll call last night? I know the soccer team is back. Did you write anything?
Soccer team's back. Yeah, soccer 2-0.
All right.
Look, last year was a down year. You know, you had 2022 where you went to the Final Four, 2023 where they were a top 10 team for a good stretch of the season. Last year, things kind of went off the rails a little. You lost a lot of talent. Soccer's back. I think we're looking at a top 25 team within the next couple weeks. I think Alabama's going to work their way into the rankings. There's some talent on this roster, and I want to get out there, cover a game or two once we get to those SEC matchups, because Wes Hart, going into, I believe, year 11, he's really turned this program around so much. Got a fan base that's passionate. When's the last time you made it out to a game, Joe? 23?
Yeah, probably.
Like, you've seen what that fan base gets active for those big games, and once we hit some of those matchups, once we hit like Georgia or Florida, one of those, you know, kind of higher caliber SEC programs, we'll have some great atmospheres. And I didn't know that when I came here. I was shocked to see that Alabama soccer had really any following. Now people get passionate. You know, you got everyone wearing like their scarves that they give out. It's fun.
Well, we got to keep up with them. 2-0. All right.
2-0. Won the home opener. Really late goal. I think it was 87th minute to beat Chattanooga. Stepping up in the big moments.
There we go. We'll keep up with them. Tomorrow we'll be on in the afternoon. We were sorry about our delay this morning. We'll get everything out there for everybody to talk to and listen to. You can respond to the show by following us at Theo Fernandez _ at Joe Gaither 6. Leave us a voicemail, 205-462-7340, extension 800. What do you think about Alabama's running back room? How they're going to pivot? How you feeling about this Florida State game? We're going to talk to a Florida State writer on Wednesday afternoon and play it on our Thursday morning show. And we're just going to have a whole lot of fun the rest of the week with Theo Fernandez. And then on Friday, Theo is going to beat up Henry Scalar right here on air in the Derek Daniels State Farm. I expect blood and guts all over the studio.
Blood and guts. It'll just be like we're wrestling over at Two Dimes.
There we go. Exactly. We'll see you September 11th as well, right there at Two Dimes, and tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.